One staircase, hundreds of people, 2 in the morning, and 20 floors are trying to reach the street at the same time. If you live in a high-rise, this is the evacuation problem almost nobody thinks about. Because you're not just leaving your apartment. You're trying to evacuate an entire vertical neighborhood through a narrow concrete staircase. Some people are carrying children. Others have pets. Someone is barefoot. An elderly neighbor is moving slowly. One resident has stopped on a landing. Another is trying to go back upstairs. And every few seconds, more people enter the stairwell above you. In a real emergency, that staircase can become a human traffic jam. Today, I'm going to show you how to prepare for it, how to move through it, and how to avoid the mistakes that can trap an entire family in the wrong place. And stay with me, because there is one decision every family should make before an evacuation that almost nobody discusses until they're already inside the stairwell. First, understand what you're actually dealing with. A high-rise evacuation is a traffic problem. Think about your building on a normal morning. Residents leave at different times. Most use the elevator. A few use the stairs. Nobody is rushing. Now remove the elevators. Then tell residents on 10, 15, or 20 floors to leave almost simultaneously. Every floor feeds people into the same narrow route. Residents from above are already moving downward while people on lower floors are trying to join them. Doors open. People stop. Someone drops something. A child gets tired. A dog freezes. One slow person can affect dozens of people behind them. And this is why your first rule is so important. The alarm cannot be the moment when you begin preparing. If you live in a high-rise, tell me what floor you're on in the comments. And if practical apartment preparedness is useful to you, subscribe. Because high-rise survival is completely different from preparing in a house with a garage, backyard, and multiple exits. Now here's the first thing you need ready. A compact evacuation bag. Not a giant bug-out bag designed for 3 weeks in the wilderness. You are descending stairs through a crowd. Weight matters. Your bag should contain the essentials that become difficult to replace once you're outside. Critical medication, basic first aid supplies, water, a little food, backup power, copies of important information, emergency lighting, and anything essential for children or pets. And it should already be packed. Not spread between your bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, and storage closet. Because during an alarm, every unnecessary decision costs time. Where are the batteries? Where's the charger? Where did I put the medication? Should I bring another jacket? That is exactly the kind of thinking you want to eliminate before the emergency begins. The second rule is equally important. Do not carry too much. Imagine descending 15 floors with a 40-pound backpack. At first, you feel prepared. 5 floors later, your legs are working harder. 10 floors later, you're slowing down. Now 20 people are behind you. Your evacuation kit should be light enough that you can move continuously and still keep at least one hand available. That hand may need the railing. It may need to open a fire door. It may need to hold a child. And if someone bumps into you on a crowded landing, it may be the hand that keeps you from falling. Now imagine the same staircase with poor visibility. Most residents assume the emergency lights will work perfectly. Maybe they will. But what if they don't? A power failure, damaged electrical system, smoke, or malfunctioning emergency lighting can turn a staircase you've walked 100 times into something completely different. That is why a headlamp can be one of the most useful pieces of high-rise evacuation gear you own. It keeps both hands free and puts light exactly where you need it, on the stairs in front of you. And this is the kind of equipment you want to choose before you're standing in a dark stairwell wishing you had it. You don't need to guess what works. I've put together a list of the exact gear I trust for apartment living in the description below. Whether you need emergency lighting, clean water, backup power, a core survival kit, food solutions, or even resources for off-grid projects, You'll find the links in the description and pinned comment. You don't need everything at once. Start with the equipment that solves the most immediate problems in your apartment. Now there's another piece of evacuation equipment that costs nothing extra, or your shoes. Picture the alarm going off at 2:17 in the morning. What are you wearing? Probably not sturdy footwear. A surprising number of people will enter that staircase barefoot, in socks, sandals, or slippers, because their real shoes are buried somewhere in the apartment. Keep closed-toe shoes somewhere predictable. If you live 15 floors above the street, footwear isn't just clothing, it's evacuation equipment. Now we need to talk about hesitation. This is one of the most dangerous psychological traps in apartment buildings. The alarm sounds. Nobody smells smoke. The hallway looks normal. So people wait. They look outside. They text neighbors. They check a building group chat. They search social media. And somebody eventually says the sentence everyone wants to hear, "It's probably another false alarm." Maybe it is. But if evacuation is required under your building's procedures or authorities instruct you to leave, delaying can put you into the staircase after hundreds of other residents have already entered it. The earlier flow may be manageable. 10 minutes later, it may be completely different. But this doesn't mean you blindly throw open your apartment door during a fire. Check conditions and follow your building's fire safety procedures. If there are indications of dangerous heat or smoke outside your unit, your safest action may not be entering that hallway at all. That's why you need to learn your building's emergency procedures now, not while the alarm is screaming. And here's something almost embarrassingly simple that most residents never do. Walk your evacuation route. Not mentally. Actually walk it. Find the emergency stairwells on your floor. All of them. Then take one from your apartment all the way to ground level when there is no emergency. Notice the doors. Notice the turns. See where the staircase actually exits. You may assume it leads directly to the lobby. Maybe it doesn't. It could lead to a parking garage, a side exit, an alley, or another part of the property. Also notice whether certain doors lock behind you. You do not want your first complete trip through that staircase to happen in darkness, under stress, surrounded by 200 strangers. Now remember the crowded staircase from the beginning? This is where behavior starts to matter. Do not fight the flow. A mass evacuation is not a race to see who reaches the ground first. Running, pushing, aggressively overtaking slower people, or trying to force your way around families can turn congestion into something much worse. One fall on a narrow staircase can affect everyone behind it. Use the handrail when possible. Keep enough distance to see the step in front of you. Keep bags close to your body. Don't let equipment swing from your shoulders. And avoid stopping in the middle of the stairs. The goal isn't maximum speed, it's continuous movement. Now we get to the decision I mentioned at the beginning. Who goes first? If your household includes 2 adults, children, an elderly relative, or pets, decide your order before the emergency. One adult can lead. The other can stay behind the group. The person in front maintains the route. The person behind makes sure nobody becomes separated. Children need one simple rule. Stay with the family. Do not tell a young child, "Meet us downstairs." In a crowded evacuation, downstairs may contain hundreds of frightened residents, emergency crews, vehicles, alarms, and multiple exits. Your household should move as one unit whenever conditions allow. And if someone in your family has limited mobility, or you have an animal that becomes difficult to control under stress, planning becomes even more important. Ask yourself something right now. How many seconds would it take you to secure your pet and reach your front door? If you don't know, test it. If a cat carrier is buried behind boxes, it's not accessible. If the dog's leash is never in the same place, that's another decision you'll be making under stress. If someone in your household cannot safely descend many flights of stairs, Learn your building's procedures for evacuation assistance, accessible refuge areas, evacuation devices, or staff support. These are not separate problems. They're all the same problem. The staircase is filling up while you're trying to get ready. That's why preparation is about removing delays. Now suppose you make it downstairs. You're outside. Emergency vehicles are arriving. Neighbors are gathering near the entrance. And that's where another mistake begins. People stop directly outside the building. Don't do that. You may interfere with firefighters, medical crews, building staff, emergency equipment, or other residents still trying to exit. Your household should already have a meeting location away from the immediate building entrance, and you need a backup. The first location might be blocked. The street could be closed. Police could push people farther away. Fire apparatus might occupy the entire area. Without a second meeting point, separated family members start wandering around looking for each other. Then the phone calls begin. Then somebody walks back toward the building. A simple backup location eliminates a surprising amount of confusion. And don't assume your phone will solve everything. Your battery might be low. You may leave it inside. Networks can become overloaded during a large emergency. Keep important numbers written somewhere in your evacuation gear. If possible, establish an out-of-area contact the family members know they can reach if local communication becomes difficult. The fewer decisions you need to invent during the emergency, the better. Where is the bag? Already packed. Where are the shoes? Same place every night. Which stairs? Already walked them. Who leads? Already decided. Where do we meet? Already chosen. What if that location is blocked? Already solved. Preparedness is not about predicting exactly what will happen. It's about eliminating unnecessary decisions when your brain is under maximum pressure. And there is one final rule that matters more than the equipment in your bag. Once you're safely out, stay out unless emergency authorities tell you otherwise. People return for understandable reasons. Medication, a laptop, documents, a pet. Something expensive, something sentimental. But every trip back into a dangerous building trades something that can potentially be replaced for something that cannot. That is why you prepare the bag beforehand. That is why the important documents are already copied. That is why the pet carrier is accessible. Preparation gives you the ability to walk away. So tonight, do one thing. Stand at your apartment door and imagine the alarm just started. Could you leave in 60 seconds? Could your family? Could you reach the emergency stairs without searching for anything? If the answer is no, fix that before you buy another piece of gear. Then, when you're ready to build the physical side of your apartment survival kit, I've organized the tools and solutions I recommend in the description and pinned comment, so you can start with the essentials instead of buying random equipment. You don't need a bunker. You don't need a garage full of supplies. But if 20 floors begin evacuating at once, you do need something most of your neighbors may not have. A plan made before the staircase fills up. Because when the alarm sounds, hundreds of people may start making decisions at the same time. Your family shouldn't have to.